Hi everybody, I'm Karen Burchill, Creative Katie, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm trying something new, and you should too. This tutorial is one of my 5 for Fall projects where I use napkins doing different mixed media and art journal projects. I've done some art journal pages covering the basics. I've done some home decor pieces. Here I challenge you to do something with collage. In today's project, I have put away my art journal pages and my canvases, and I am going to work on this wood cutout. Now this pumpkin came from a subscription box from Ninny's Napkins. This is not available, but there are other wood cutouts that are, so you could check it out. And if you're looking for a particular shape, just email Ninny and she'll figure it out for you. Now what I did to the wood round, or wood cutout, is I gave it a coat of gesso, both sides and around the rim. Now I believe this is 3/4 inch thick, and this wood is so nice. It's sanded. The quality is really there. I came from folk art background where I actually cut out wood cutouts with my scroll saw, and I know quality when I see it. So I'm just giving this a good coat of gesso to prepare the wood, seal the wood. This is going to give me more options later on. I'm really quite unsure about how this is going to work out, but I'm moving forward and trying something new. While I've done folk art before, I haven't done it with napkins. I wanted this white or lighter colored because I didn't want to see that wood grain coming through the napkin. So once it's dry, and you can see I've done all the sides, and there's a little bit still peeking through, but I know I'm going to do something. I'm going to color it, so I'm not too worried. And I grabbed this Whispers of Autumn napkin. Now this is a cocktail size, but look at the size of the focal images. They are a terrific size. So I'm opening this up and trying to figure out how I want to use it on the substrate that I'm using. FYI, I'm doing it on this pumpkin cutout. You can do everything I do here on an art journal page or on a canvas. Now to size this up, or to get a better idea, I did rough cut it out so I can manipulate the images and get a better idea of where I want them to go or how I can make them fit. Now here's something else you can do to have that perfect composition. Peel off the excess layers, because you never decoupage with all the layers on, and water cut the images. Create the composition that you want, not use the one that they give you. Now this is a little scary because you think, well, what if I mess up? Well, I have another napkin, and you learn, and it's really rather forgiving. So I've cut that off, and instantly I'm more able to see what I want to do. Not really fond of this flower right now, or this one right here, so I'm cutting it off. I put it on this side, and I go, oh, I'm liking that. Maybe I can put that flower up there. Nope. Maybe I can put these on the other side. Not really liking that. And try different things. Cut apart as much as you need when you know where you want to go. And once you start, you'll get more ideas. I flipped it over. So I'm liking it on this side, but I want something up here to go up across the top so it swoops down. I'm liking this, and then maybe some little thing down here. So half the pumpkin is decoupaged with the napkin in a composition that I like, and half of the pumpkin is going to be treated in a different way. So when I flip this over to, I wanted it on the left side, so I flipped the napkin over to the other side, and you can decoupage that down that way if you needed to. I'm thinking I like it on the left side better. So with this napkin, it actually gives two different orientations. So I peel off the excess layers and I'm back to water cutting this one in the same way I did the other one. You don't know till you know. Now I could have decoupaged it backwards, or with the printed side down, and it would show through, but it would mute it even more, and I didn't want to lose any more detail than I needed to. So I opted, since I had this option. So I'm simply water cutting the elements out that I know I want, separating them. And you can separate any. I could even have incorporated flowers from a printable or from another napkin if I needed to or wanted to, where I create my own unique. So I've got the orientation that I like. Outside of these little things, I'm not exactly sure yet how I like it, but I am liking it overall. I think and the excess that I water cut, look, this is perfect on a 6x6 mixed media board, 6x6 canvas. I'm going to put it on a card. So I'm just going to save all those pieces. Nothing goes to waste. When you get an orientation you like, get out your camera, take a picture. Saves yourself some time later on. So now I want it to paint the stem, and I want to match it to the muted colors in that napkin. Now, if you know me, you know I like bright colors. This muted pastel-y color scheme really isn't me, but I'm forcing myself to try something new. So my challenge here for me is going to be to keep it muted. Now in the stem, I'm trying to match the greens that are in the napkin, and it's kind of a bluish green. So I got greenish blue. I'm mixing with Hooker's green, some titanium white, and then I put some gray in it. I'm just mixing it as I go, trying it out, trying to get it close to what's already in the napkin. I don't want to introduce another tone. Here I put the stencil over it and wipe off paint through it, giving a little pattern there. I'm kind of happy with the stem. FYI, or spoiler alert, that's going to change as I move through this. So now I want to paint the pumpkin. The white is a little too stark. It doesn't go well with that muted colors of the napkins. So I want to go a little more softer, muted. So I get out the titanium white and I'm mixing it with white gesso and just spreading it on that pumpkin. I'm not trying to make this all perfectly even. I like that mottled look. You've heard me say that before if you've watched. It's just an easy way of adding stuff to the background. Where I know I'm going to glue those napkin images, I'm making it a little bit lighter. And then I'm muting down some of the stem there. Once everything's dry, I'm ready to start decoupaging the napkins down. And whatever's behind gets glued down first. I put a coat of fluid matte medium underneath and then fluid matte medium on top. Piece came off, I glued it down. And you can just layer this up. You could overlap the images, the napkin images, to some degree as you go. Now the fluid matte medium turns that napkin translucent and you see all the background in there. I'm peeling off the excess here, but you can let it dry and use a sanding block or emery board to get that off. Whatever works best for you. Now I need to decide if I want something down here. It just seems unfinished, but oh, that one goes there. So it's just trial and error. Try it, see if you like it. If you're in doubt, take a picture, look at it from afar, walk away, come back. All those things help you decide when the decisions that you make. I'm liking that one down there. That one just isn't quite right. In my mind, you may think that's right. So this fall napkin and all of the napkins from the Fall 5 for Fall series are available at NINNYSNAPKINS.com. There is a link to Ninny's in the description box below and a coupon code. So I just added that one and I'm quite happy with this. Now, considering I wasn't exactly happy necessarily with the pumpkin cutout or this napkin, the fact that together I'm absolutely loving the piece tells you we should try something new. So then I decided I'm going to edge my pumpkin cutout just like I edge my pages, and I'm using a brown here, and instantly it just makes it stand out more. Then I'm shading around the stem, adding some of that brown, covering up that brown, grunging it up a little bit because I want that muted color. Did I know I was going to do this at the beginning? No. I'm just making decisions along the way. Then I'm going to look at a printable and just add some of these details, shading on the pumpkin, just to add a little bit of interest. I chose not to add any texture or pattern to that side of the pumpkin because I didn't want anything to overpower the decoupage napkin that I had. Sometimes enough is enough. I could have put some texture on the stem. As I'm thinking about it now, that would have been a great way to add just that little bit of detail. Now I'm going to over paint. Now you'll see here the napkin kind of ended, and I'm going to add to the petals, brighten it a little bit, maybe change the color, but the challenge here is not going so dark. I want to stay in that muted zone, which is not my comfort zone. And the way that I overpaint or add petals where there aren't petals, like here, is to put in some gesso first. And I pretty much just glob it in. Technical term, I don't know. I just put that in, and then I'm going to colorize the gesso with a combination of my Inktense blocks and my acrylic paints. And in a minute, I'm going to really speed up this process. I want to show it to you, but I'm not really able to tell you which colors I'm mixing because I am changing it as I go. I try something, and if it doesn't work, I try something else. I wipe it back. It's a bit of a dance. It's a bit of a look and see. Try and fail. But here I'm adding to the size of the rest of the petals because some of that was cut out when I separated all these images. In the colorization of this flower, which was green, and the petals or the leaves there, I did change the green away from that. It was almost a blue-green that I really didn't like. And so then I ended up having to paint over the stem because I matched it before, remember? So it became more of an olive green, which still muted, but I liked it much better. So for the most part, I am keeping the color of the flowers as they are, but I'm adding a little bit of gesso, adding a little bit of color so that it looks like it's partially paint it on as opposed to just a napkin that I've glued on. This is kind of making it your own because you can tweak the colors and adding your own twist to it. This took a lot of time, back and forth, and I'm really speeding this up. Again, I want to show you the process. This is something, you know, I've done before. I've done it on lots of tutorials, so you can go watch those and get more detail specific to it. Once I was happy with the color of it, I came in with the brown and some black, and I'm adding shading to the flowers. And this adds definition. It outlines in part the petals of the flowers that I've painted over. It adds, then I go in and I add some highlights too. Now, if you're not comfortable doing the overpainting process, you can just leave it as it was, just decoupage down. But trust me, the more you do, the better you get at it. And there we have it overpainted. I kept it a little muted. I didn't go too bright or too dark. So now I'm taking some olive green Inktense block, wetting it, getting it on my brush, and mixing it with gesso to turn it into splatter. I want a little bit of that olive green splattered on the rest of the napkin. It's a little too bare. I just want to splatter it with that, and then I'm giving it a dry. Then I'm grabbing my gold splatter paint, which is pre-thinned out acrylic paint, and I'm splattering the gold all over. This just adds a little bit of bling and makes it a little bit extra special. Then I'm going back with black. I'm edging with black. I don't see enough definition there, so I want to darken it up a little bit more, and I'm happy. I've got the brown underneath and now the black, that two-tone shade. I just love that effect. And I thought I was done here, and I was very happy with the end result, and I could have left it, but I thought, do I need a sentiment? And I looked through my Grateful, Thankful, Blessed sentiment pack, and I really like this one. Life is full of give and take, give thanks, and take nothing for granted. I like the two different fonts, and so I decided I'm going to print that off on tissue paper. So the process here, and I'll link the video where I give this in detail, but the process is I print out the sentiment on the sheet. That way I know exactly where it is going to print, and then I'm taping down tissue paper. This is just dollar store tissue paper. You can iron it if you want. This still has crinkles in it, and I'm putting a lot of tape on here and flattening it out. Then this goes in the printer the way your printer works. Me, I'm just putting the tissue paper up in my printer tray, and that works. Sometimes it jams, sometimes it doesn't. It's kind of the luck of the draw. So I print that off, and now I have it, and it's easy. I'm going to cut out and use the tissue paper instead of the white, and that means everything around where the text is will go translucent, and you'll see whatever is in the background, and you'll see the font on top, the sentiment on top. So I'm just cutting off each piece. The part that's actually regularly printed, I can save, and that can go on a card. That card that I showed you, I could put that on there. So I'm just lining up where this is going to get glued down. I can manipulate it, get it all straight, and then I'm going to glue it down with fluid matte medium. The key here is don't use a lot of the fluid matte medium. The more you use, the better. You want to have enough, and then you just line it up, and I put one at a time, lining it up according to each other, trying to make it straight. Now I've glued that down, and it is just about done. Of course, I've been to that point a couple times and then decided to do more. As I said, I've done it on this wood cutout. You could do the exact same thing on a canvas or on an art journal page. Once it's dry, you won't see any of the shine there because I've used the matte finish in the Liquitex Fluid Matte Medium. Clean off your brush. And there we have it. Now you can give this a coat of heavy-duty wood varnish, Polyvine, Ninny's Napkins carries it, or the Decorator's varnish. Depends, you want it, if you're going to put it outside at all, you want it to be finished. Here are some close-ups of it displayed. Here it's on a plate rack. It can stand freely. A wonderful addition to your fall home decor.